everybody. My name is Alex Bessonov. I'm a CEO and founder of Bitclave, a blockchain company. How is everybody doing so far? Woo! Okay, welcome to Santa Monica. This is really interesting that we all travel a lot, and I just came back from Europe. We are based in California, Silicon Valley, but it looks like there's not too many events. So I'm really happy that finally we can speak here in Los Angeles. First about myself, I'm a former Chief Security Officer of LG Electronics. I quit my corporate job last December and started Bitclave. I have about 20 years in experience in computer industry. I worked at Microsoft, Intertrust, and XP Semiconductors. So today I wanted to talk about data privacy and search. I will go a little bit into details of that. I don't have too much time, so I'll just give just a little bit of introduction to this topic. And then I will connect it with blockchain and tell you how we see the future and how it's going to change. So, does the privacy of your data matter? That's a question that I will try to answer today. I think most of us have the answer, but when it comes to details, we're a little bit blurry there. So I'll try to clarify that and explain why we think it's very important. So first I wanted to start with this guy. His name is Jack Barsky. He is a former spy from Soviet Union. I met him a few months ago at security conference where he was giving a keynote, and I found it really fascinating. So this guy was sent by Soviets into the United States back in the 70s, and he was what's called a sleeper agent. He was if you guys watching The Americans, I think it's a pretty cool show. Here's some people in the background. So this guy was actually a prototype for the main character. He was working as an IT consultant or IT professional in one of the largest corporations. And I think back in the 90s, he got access to files of and records of tens of millions of American citizens. And so he called his bosses in Moscow, and he said he has his data, and what should he do about it? And the answer was very surprising. They said nothing. They had no value. They didn't see any value in the data. And so he just moved on to the next thing. So things have started to change 2 decades after. Everything started in this garage in Menlo Park, where this company Google started. Right now we don't say search, we say Google. And that was a really big change. So 2 young PhD students from Stanford invented this cool algorithm that was later named PageRank, and that was really an efficient way to rank data, to go through data and build a very fast and very cool search experience for all of us. So this guy started with an idea of helping all of us, and their slogan was "Don't do evil." Kind of fast forward a few years later, they are one of the biggest corporations in the world. They're not even called Google anymore. They are now Alphabet, which is a bunch of companies from A to Z. I think it's 26 of them. And they build everything from self-driving cars to VR glasses to some failed social networks. So really, really a lot of different investments. And if you ask yourself who is paying for this projects, it's us. It's our data that is essentially underneath all the success of Alphabet, and everything is coming from us, from users, from our data. So this is Sergey's Brin mansion in New Jersey. It's really pretty. I've never been there, but I've heard it's lovely. It's another picture of it. There's nothing wrong with people owning this kind of expensive properties, but again, we are essentially the ones that are subsidizing these guys. Our data is underneath all the money that they make. So just briefly talk about digital ad market revenue. It's growing. It's really becoming one of the biggest economies now. Just this year, the digital revenue, the digital marketing revenue started to approach the conventional ones, the TVs, the newspapers, and it's definitely coming up as a much bigger revenue stream. Most of the money right now goes to Google's and Facebook's, and I think they're really the biggest winners in this economy, in this world. So we think that things are going to change in the future. You know, it's hard to make predictions. I definitely would never predict a price of Bitcoin, but I do want to predict that in 10 years, blockchain technology will start changing the ecosystems of the world, and companies like Google, Amazon, and Facebook will not be able to dominate the world as they did before. Again, I'll talk a little bit about this in a second, but this centralized search system has a lot of issues with it. So first of all, it's coming with the fact that all our data is owned by one person or one entity, right? There is a lot of security risks. There is a lot of different risks associated with it. Bots are accounted for about 50% of all the traffic on the internet, and that's kind of it's a big issue by itself. And as we kind of move forward, it's going to be just bigger. The ads themselves don't really reach the target. So if you are a company like ourselves or any other company and you want to advertise, you have no idea where your data is going. You essentially are, you hope that your money will be used properly, but you know, you have to trust Google and you have to trust their algorithms. And obviously they're there to monetize on you. A middleman, again, if you look into any industry, either it's a car sell or a house sell, you have a long row of middlemen that are passing the money from each other, and there is very little add value to them. And then finally, we as customers, as people that are essentially a gas for all the system, we are not getting paid. We're just there to be and to provide the data and to establish the values of all these people. So a solution. So we build a solution that we believe is going to change the industry, is going to revolutionize the world. We build a decentralized search. The idea is that we want to take a middleman out of equation, and we want to enable people to connect directly with the businesses. And so if you are a person and you have your data on the internet, you can monetize it, and you can actually get benefits from direct connection with the business that you're looking for, and not with some random companies that Google feels like you should be connected with. So there's a lot of benefits. So businesses make money on personalized offers, and for consumers, we are getting paid in the tokens. So BitWave is based on the idea that we don't want to own the data. We want people to own the data, and so if we build it in a centralized way like Google does, we essentially will just replace Google, which is not what we are trying to do. Our goal is to really allow people to store the data by themselves. So blockchain is a perfect storage for the user's data, where the data is going to be owned by consumers. Smart contracts are there to drive and to enable the token economy. We look at the smart contracts as essential enabler for this connection to happen. This is basically this logic that right now is completely hidden from us. It's something that all these big companies are doing on themselves, but now we want to expose it. We want to have it very transparent, and we want to have a consensus built automatically on a blockchain. We are relying on the activity ledger, which again is another feature of blockchain, where we can keep data in a secure way, and we can anonymize it, and we can keep all the different activities in sync with each other, and which will enable a lot of value for our data. And then finally, cryptography. We are very focused on building this right anonymization and ranking mechanisms that would allow us to still remain anonymous, but yet being able to provide data to the businesses, and so we could benefit from that. So I want to skip through this slide. So we are building a lot of partnerships right now. Our goal is to have an ecosystem in which people will go to websites and will just search, and we will be powering, we build the platform underneath the search. So our focus on community right now, we are working with a lot of developers, really trying to spread the word about the product and make sure that our widgets and our platform is embedded into searches and also into applications. We actually start with a lot of mobile apps as well, and so I think that's a really good way for us. This is our team. 3 of the 4 co-founders are here on the floor. So if you guys are here and want to say hi, we are here if you have any questions. We are based in Mountain View, California. We are associated with or affiliated with Carnegie Mellon University. We sponsor the university, and our CTO, Patrick Tak, is a professor from CMU. We also work with several other universities. We're taking on a very big task to compete with Google, so we need all the power and all the brains that we can find, and so that's. I think we have an excellent team to do that. We have over 20 developers right now, and we're growing. So just to summarize, we have a value for consumers because they can get paid for their data, and they just don't throw it into Sergey's mention. We have businesses have very clear value proposition because we directly connect with the consumers, and so we build some loyalty, and we also enable a much better connection with users. Being a security expert, I can tell you that our main focus is to keep data private. I do believe that with the time, people will go more into security areas. Europe just started with the GDPR effort, which is a really big thing, and I think as time progresses, we all will start realizing how important the data is. And again, if you guys have more questions, please reach out. I have a lot of experience talking about different security breaches and what it means for all of us to have our data out there in the internet. And you'll be surprised how many actually dangerous things can happen to all of us. And finally, we are a blockchain company. So when we started last year, we were really surprised how good blockchain fits into this new world and into shared economy of data. So does the privacy matter? Yes, it does. And so that's me. Again, we're